You need money, political party, popularity to win.
So you're basically also a blogger in the netizen.
Yes, I'm familiar with these tools and technologies. A lot of the people around me are doing it, are using these approaches. And if you Google my name with parentheses, Nicanor Perlas, you will have 248,000 entries there. And this is what I mentioned to Comelec because I Googled some of the Comelec commissioners. Yung kanilang numbers there sa internet, sa Google, is like 23,000. So if you have a presence there of 248,000 sa internet, it's actually higher than 4 other qualified presidential rates. Mas mababa yung kanila. Others are higher than me, no? But the others are less. So I think there's a significant presence sa internet. And I think this present release that I just issued about a global protest that was launched just 3 days ago in the internet, and it's already 1,290 and growing kasi it's growing every few minutes. It's very widely spread, and yung kanyang message is that and people are responding already from 44 countries. There was even one guy from the armed forces in Europe in his individual capacity who was actually also signed up the thing. Ang point lang is that the internet is a very powerful tool, and it cannot be neglected in the present elections. I understand, for example, that Senator Trillanes used the social networking sites to win. He didn't have money. And that's one example. He didn't have money, no machinery, he was in jail, couldn't go out to speak to bloggers like this, limited, and he won. And his votes represent people looking for something different. I think he got 8 million votes, if I'm not mistaken. So yun, there's a huge number of people, and this presence will intensify in the 3 months of elections, when you're totally free to go out there with large motorcade, with, you know, all kinds of election approach strategies. So we're confident that there's a good chance to be reinstated in the Comelec, and we will know this soon. And if they don't reinstate me as an official candidate, we're going to move to the Supreme Court. And we will blame Comelec if there's going to be a delay in the elections in 2010. Because we're going to seek for the temporary restraining order of Comelec to print, so they will not be able to print the ballots by January 9 unless the Supreme Court makes a decision. So we have a very strong case.
What happens to GMA if you don't have an election?
Yeah, so this is why the Comelec and Supreme Court have to act on this. That's why it's not my fault. I am defending the rights, not only my rights, but also the rights of Filipinos to have new politics in this country. This is what I'm defending. Yeah, give it a chance. This is not my battle. That's why if you look at what they're saying in this petition, as well as all the Filipinos who have written in, it's not a case just about me. What on earth has the Comelec got to do voting for the Filipino people? This is really a case of suppression of new politics. So that's why, if it was just really about me, probably wala na. I mean, I would have dropped out. I'm defending a whole notion of a whole new way of doing politics in this country that allows people who have principles, who have morals, who have vision and capacities to actually do something to the country. And that's why I also find it insulting for the Comelec to say that only rich people can run. And this is why we had a lot of supporters yesterday saying from the urban tour that so what happens to their aspirations now if only rich candidates can actually run. So that's why it's really important that Comelec reverses its decision, because it's not going to be a decision against me. It's going to be a decision against a whole new generation of new politicians, of new politics. Very different kind, new breed of politics. And that's why we think what will happen here is historically, has a precedent historically, and that's why there's a lot of interest. Kasi right now, we're defining new politics. Because COMELEC is a bastion of old politics. The kind of politics that has given us the kind of sufferings that we have been experiencing for a long time.
What will cause the main turning point for people to consider UCSD? Because right now, the people are still in the traditional politics mindset. So there should be something that should hit, and then so it could be a revolution or something like that, that people will say, I have to vote.
You know what? The turning point, I think, is being hit by the disqualification. It's an irony. This thing has awakened a lot of people. A lot of people were sitting on the sidelines. People whom I thought were not really supporters, they started texting me, email, and texting my friends. I was shocked with some of the support I was getting.
Even on Twitter.
On Twitter, but also from people that I thought were for other presidential candidates. Because they kind of felt insulted. They kind of felt personally suppressed because they were also aspiring for something very different. And a lot of people are, when I'm walking the streets, a lot of people are coming. I'm starting to lose my privacy. And my son has noticed this a lot. And because people are recognizing. And then they come up spontaneously and solicited comments like, yeah, keep the battle. This battle is very important. Please do not be disqualified. We're going to really vote for you. And some are saying that they're going to boycott the elections. I mean, it's like, it's triggered something. Parang it triggered the notion of these powerful forces in the system, parang inaapi. Inaapi yung mahihirap, yung maliliit, yung walang pera. It's like triggering that kind of awareness. And so most of the people, I'm getting, professionals are also approaching me, but the vast majority are coming from Class D, which is 70 to 75% of all the voters, and really strong support. Yesterday I was eating in a restaurant. The supervisor of the restaurant and several waiters and waitresses all converged upon me and started saying, we think that your disqualification is unfair, and I don't know them. So if you're talking about a turning point, actually the turning point was already starting to happen 2 weeks before the COMELEC decision, because of the spontaneous, you can know it kasi wherever you go, people are spontaneously coming up to you, not only Manila, but in Mindanao, in the Visayas. And this COMELEC disqualification has triggered something really different. In fact, a well-known TV journalist, Anthony Taverna, he interviewed me in Umagang Kay Ganda, I think 2 days ago. It's actually available in the internet. You can, I think, YouTube or on the ABS-CBN site. He said, his last question to me was, don't you think that this disqualification has done a good thing for you?
That's
what he said. And
More attention.
Yeah, and I said yes.
More media attention.
Yeah. For example, like si Ted Faidon, lambasted the COMELEC for, di ba? What did your helper tell you?
Parang sabi niya, galit na galit siya sa COMELEC kasi walang karapatan daw ang COMELEC na i-disqualify si Dick Perlas dahil lang walang machinery o walang pera.
So he went on like that for many minutes. And Ted Faidon is one of the most listened to radio broadcaster. So, and it's not only him, it's also the counterpart, GMA7, sila. It's starting to happen.